Tonight on Newswatch, more cleanup and investigations in East Palestine months after the toxic train derailment. Plus, wartime tensions in the Middle East are sending warnings across the U.S. And in sports, we take a look at the Ohio High School volleyball playoffs. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Silver Barker. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources says fall colors are at their peak this week across the Buckeye State. Taking a live look outside in College Green here in Athens, fall color forester David Parrott says they hope the leaves stay strong this weekend with windy and rainy conditions. Newswatch forecaster Cam Cousteau is here joining us to tell us more. So, Cam, a question I really want to ask, with these rainy conditions and hoping that this comes in, is this something we are going to see this weekend?
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have some rainy conditions, but also a focus with that is going to be the winds. So with all the leaves right now being so brittle on the trees, they may be beautiful, but they're also going to get blown away quite easily. And we're expected to see higher winds this weekend. So if you want to go out and get a look at the fall colors, you are going to need to do that quickly. Right now, though, in Athens, we are expecting 63-degree temperatures and overcast skies. Saw a little bit of rain here earlier. And we have winds from the south at 6 miles per hour, especially in the evening hours, though. That's going to tend to get higher and higher. Humidity at 64%, and our barometer is going to be falling as the strength of the low pressure system is going to move into the region. And we have a dew point right now sitting at 51 degrees, so it's a little humid for us as well. Tonight in Athens, we're expecting a low of 51. Another round of showers through the night. I'll tell you a little bit more about the impacts of that a little bit later here. Expecting sunrise at 7:42 in the morning. And here's that the line of showers right now. It's going to be a pain in the neck for us coming here soon, but I'll talk a little more on that later. We'll take you back to Silver now.
Thanks, Cam. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is ordering Norfolk Southern to conduct additional cleanup and investigations in East Palestine months after a toxic train derailment gasped the nation's attention. The order focuses on bodies of water like Sulphur Run, Leslie Run, and downstream creeks in the surrounding areas in an effort to curb any lasting impacts in waterways. Under the EPA's Clean Water Act authority, investigators will look over a 5-mile length extending from both bodies of water, looking for oily sheens and sediments left over from February's toxic derailment. Yesterday's order from the EPA will build on the assessment and cleanup work already conducted in creeks over the last several months, and the work will determine if more cleanup is needed to ensure any long-term impacts are addressed. Most Ohioans support issues 1 and 2, a new poll shows. Issue 1 would make abortions protected of the state constitution, and issue 2 would legalize recreational marijuana. The Baldwin-Wallace University Ohio Pulse poll found 58% of voters support issue 1. BW political science professor Tom Sutton attributes this to the amendment encompassing more than abortion. It also protects reproductive freedoms like access to contraception, fertility treatment, and miscarriage care. On issue 2, 57% of respondents say they plan to vote yes. Sutton says the support for both amendments shows Ohioans want to protect their freedoms. The poll found interest in voting in November is high. 67% of respondents say they were certain to vote November 7th. You can visit voteohio.gov, or go to the website on your screen to check your voter information and request a mail-in ballot. More than half a century after it was outlawed, Ohio is one of the only 11 states where spousal rape is still treated differently in the legal system. A bill to change that made it out of committee without opposition this week and is now awaiting a vote on the Ohio House floor. The Ohio Revised Code still offers privileges to perpetrators who sexually assault their spouses if they live together. The new bill isn't the first time Ohio lawmakers are trying to get rid of marital exceptions to rape and other sexual misconduct. State Representative Jessica Miranda says efforts have been around since the mid-'80s, including the last 2 legislative sessions. Miranda says they hope to see the bill on the House floor by mid-November. The move of Secretary of the State Frank LaRose's office is causing some head turns. So far, 3 people have filed public records requests for information about his decision to move it to a building that houses the law firm that filed his paperwork for his U.S. Senate campaign. The Republican congressman was at his original office location for nearly 20 years. The Ohio Democratic Party brought the 3 together who were concerned about the move. LaRose says in a statement, the move has been in the works since his U.S. Senate campaign, and there is no campaign office in the building. LaRose also says the $600,000 worth of moving costs are going to be paid through business filing fees, and that the move will result in saving $56,000 a year. A former supervisor with the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources is indicted for signing off on millions of dollars in COVID-19 testing supplies that went unaccounted for. Attorneys for the Southern District of West Virginia said Timothy Pretty then lied about it in front of a federal grand jury. The indictment says at the time Pretty was working for the DHHR as the director of the Center for Threat Preparedness. Federal investigators say he lied and signed off on $34 million in payments for testing kits that were not accounted for. His initial court appearance is scheduled for Monday. West Virginia forensic pathologists are being asked to perform twice as many autopsies. This is because of the national best practice standard, which is resulting in significant delays. The National Association of Medical Examiners dictates that 90% of autopsy reports should be returned within 60 to 90 days. The current turnaround time on autopsies for West Virginia office is 8 months. Office of the Chief Medical Examiner in West Virginia is expected nearly 4,000 autopsies with a full-time staff of only 6 pathologists. Still ahead, the latest ongoing effort to pick a House Speaker. And U.S. officials are warning embassies and consulates to up their security as war tensions increase in the Middle East.
And right now we're in between 2 rain systems. We're going to find out how these later systems are going to impact us and what the weather is going to look like for the coming weekends later on Newswatch.
During the Armenian genocide, 14-year-old Aurora lost everything. Through vivid animation and century-old footage, experience a forgotten story of survival.
And that's me, Aurora.
Aurora's Sunrise on POV.
Monday at 10 on WOUB.
Better than ever, born to be great. This is the moment that history's made. Nothing can stop us, ain't seen nothing yet. The lights are on and now the stage is set. This is the day a new dawn is near. The future's here. Welcome to the future.
If you want your life to get better, you got to fight for it.
Welcome to the future.
She just disappeared off the face of the planet.
I want her to know that I'm not mad at her.
Mom?
5 years ago, I was diagnosed with ALS.
Where is the mother of the bride?
I am an American, and I have every right like anybody else.
You have to figure out and learn where you come from.
It's hard because when you're over there, your world stops. I didn't understand that. We're getting indirect fire shot at every day.
Honestly, I was more fearful of getting sexually assaulted on the base.
When I heard the word veteran, I thought of older war veterans and never really realized that I was going to be considered a veteran after I got done with my service.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
A major update from the Fulton County Courthouse today regarding the 2020 election. The ex-attorney of former President Donald Trump, Sidney Powell, pleads guilty to conspiring to overturn Trump's loss in Georgia in 2020. It comes just a day before jury selection was set to start for the trial. Powell admits to tampering with electronic ballot markers, working with others to unlawfully access government computers, and appropriating information of the Dominion Voting Systems Corporation in a rural Georgia county in 2021. She's charged with 6 misdemeanors for attempt to interfere with the election and its results. Prosecutors in Fulton County are recommending Powell 6 years of probation, along with requiring her to write an apology letter to Georgia voters. Along with bail bondman Scott Hall, who pled guilty last month in this case, she's also now expected to testify in future trials, possibly including the former presidents. In the latest of multiple reversals, Ohio Representative Jim Jordan will not force a third vote for his speakership bid. Instead, he will temporarily back another GOP candidate while he tries to shore up more support to win the gavel. Jordan's message came at a closed-door meeting today at the Capitol as Republican lawmakers plan to give the temporary speakership power to Representative Patrick McHenry until the end of the year.
We made the pitch to members on the resolution as a way to lower the temperature and get back to work. We decided that wasn't where we're going to go. I'm still running for speaker, and I plan to go to the floor and get the votes and win this race. But I want to go talk with a few of my colleagues. Particularly, I want to talk with the 20 individuals who voted against me so that we can move forward and begin to work for the American people.
It's the second time the House has gone through multiple rounds of voting for House Speaker this year. In January, Representative Kevin McCarthy won the gavel and lost it earlier this month in a historic ouster. The conservative faces strong opposition from his own party members. There's building pressure to fill the leadership role with a looming government funding deadline. If Congress can't decide on spending in less than a month, there will be a government shutdown that will result in millions of workers going without pay, and government programs will be forced to shut down or work at a slower rate. In the other chamber of Congress, the Senate passes a bipartisan resolution supporting Israel. It affirms Israel's right to self-defense, condemns Hamas for attacks on civilians, and condemns Iran's support of terrorist groups. 99 senators co-sponsored the bill, with only Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky not signing on. It comes just before President Joe Biden is set to address the nation. He's expected to ask Congress to pass a supplemental package that includes aid for Israel. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said the chamber is ready to back up with the resolution with action and resources. A warning, some of the images and subject matter in this next story on the war in the Middle East are extremely graphic and may be hard to hear or see. Right now, the U.S. State Department is warning all of its embassies and consulates to review their security as the war intensifies between Israeli forces and Hamas. Israeli Defense Forces now reporting more than 200 people are being held hostage by Hamas in Gaza, where more than 3,700 people have been killed. Mike Valerio has the latest.
A deadly explosion rocking a Gaza neighborhood not far from homes where children are playing. Outside of a hospital, mourners pray over the body bags of victims. The grim effects of war that's erupted in the Middle East captured on video. A war that the Israel Defense Forces say may not have an end in sight.
This will not be short. And even if we'll have to expand the campaign in case another enemy gets involved, we'll know how to handle it.
With fears that a humanitarian crisis is spiraling out of control in Gaza, the United States and the European Union are calling for Israel and Egypt to allow aid across the border.
The Palestinian people are victims of Hamas too. And that is why I welcome your decision yesterday that you took to ensure that routes into Gaza will be opened.
Now, on the heels of a high-stakes visit to the war-torn Middle East, President Biden is slated to address the nation Thursday evening.
To lay out his view of this extraordinary moment that we are in when it comes to our national security and international stability, with a highlight and a focus obviously on the conflict in Israel and his visit there yesterday, as well as the ongoing conflict in Ukraine.
The U.S. Embassy in Beirut warning Americans in an updated security alert to fly out while commercial options are still available. And the president is pledging to get Americans and other civilians out of Gaza.
We're going to get people out, but I'm not going to go into any detail with you now.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
In just over an hour, President Joe Biden will deliver a rare Oval Office address. He's expected to ask for billions of dollars worth of additional military assistance to send aid to foreign conflicts like Israel and Ukraine. If you plan to travel abroad soon, you might want to be extra careful about safety. The State Department is issuing a rare worldwide alert for Americans in other countries. It warns they should exercise increased caution due to international tensions. The department says terrorist attacks could be more likely and notes the possibility of demonstrations or increased violence against U.S. citizens. This is the first worldwide alert since the killing of al-Qaeda leader last year. The State Department is also raising the travel advisory for Lebanon and Israel to the highest level. In Steubenville, Ohio, Francisco University is creating a new expedited transfer process for Jewish students following the Israel-Hamas conflict. Franciscan University's administration plans to accommodate any additional students despite the logistical challenges of enrollment. The administrators say they believe creating a safe haven for these students is the right thing to do. President of the university, Father Dave Pinvoka, is encouraging other Catholic universities to join the effort.
Good evening, everybody, and we've got a trouble line of storms right now that's going through the region. We had a line of showers earlier pass by. We're going to get a little bit more of that here today. I know I'm not excited for it. I know anybody who's planning on being outside tonight isn't excited for it. But that's what we're going to deal with here is we've got a cold front passing through the region. This is going to be due to this low pressure system up here. And it's going to kind of stall out on us, and we're going to get that cold front making its way through the region, causing some spotty showers and a chance at some rough weather even through tomorrow as well. Here on our live radar, we're going to take a look at this. So here's where our low pressure system is located. Our low pressure system is going to be located right up here around the upper peninsula of Michigan. And it's going to be bringing in cold air from Canada. And it's going to be pushing that into the region. That's going to mix with warm air, and that's going to cause a lot of rain showers, and it's just going to be a consistent threat at that as we are going to move through the end of today and into the weekend. Across the nation right now, we can see the effects of this cold front pretty clearly. We're down to 47 degrees in Kansas City and Minneapolis, where we just saw that cold front. And then across the way, around where we're at, we're going to see that rain, see temperatures begin to drop off, and we're going to begin to see temperatures in the 40s here in a little while too. Tonight, though, low of 51, 100% chance of showers as we're going to get that big second line of storms that we saw on our radar earlier. Expecting sunrise tomorrow morning at 7:42 a.m. And tomorrow is going to be a gloomy day for us, a high of 60 degrees. 40% chance of showers. That low pressure system is going to kind of stick around in the region, and then a low temperature of 42 as we get into tomorrow night. And here's this low pressure system that's kind of hanging out around the region, and that purple front means it's occluded. Usually tends to mean it's going to slow down, so tomorrow night we're going to see that persistent chance of rain, and then through Saturday as well we're going to see that happen. Looking forward, chance of rain tomorrow and Saturday, a 40% chance at that. And then we're going to see the effects of the cold front mainly on Sunday. We'll have a cloudy day, partly sunny with a high of 55 and a low below freezing we're expected. It might potentially have our first major frost of the year. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to see a little bit of a warming trend. High pressure is going to get to build into the region. We'll see some nice fall-like weather. And then Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to have another slow-moving low pressure system move into the region and cause the exact same headache that we're dealing with right now. And that'll be it for your full look at the weather. We'll take you back over to Silver.
Thanks, Cam. More than 71 million Americans receive Social Security and Supplemental Security Income benefits. Starting in 2024, those recipients are going to see a new cost of living adjustment. Cole Higgins explains the impact.
Seniors who receive Social Security benefits are going to see a smaller bump in their checks in 2024. 3.2%, the Social Security Administration announced last week. That's smaller than the inflation-fueled increases seniors saw over the last 2 years.
3.2% is literally better than nothing. We would prefer that it was higher, of course.
In 2023, the cost of living adjustment was 8.7%, which was the largest in more than 40 years. Starting in January, retirees' monthly payments are expected to be an average of $1,907, an increase of $59. Shannon Benton, the executive director with the Senior Citizens League, an advocacy group, says the inflation gauge is based on price changes for urban wage earners and clerical workers rather than the spending habits of seniors.
In a recent survey by the Senior Citizens League, 80% of participants said that they think Congress should beef up inflation protection by providing a cost of living adjustment that more accurately reflects their spending habits.
Many elderly Americans are worried these benefits won't cover their basic living expenses.
We used to be able to say, well, you know, if you can't afford beef, we'll get chicken. If you can't afford chicken, you can get pork. But right now, everything is a lot higher than it was several years ago.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Cole Higgins.
Coming up in sports, the first round of high school volleyball playoffs tips off tonight. And for the latest from Newswatch, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
Long live Prohibition.
I don't understand why you've come back. There's nothing for you here.
He has been away for some time.
9 months.
That is a long time to be apart.
You're forced to ask yourself what it is you really want.
This isn't right. You're married.
It's a charade.
I've come to tell you that this is where I'm supposed to be.
We're bound together, you and I.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
Remember? First impressions.
This is just the beginning to a change in fortunes.
I'm awake. I feel like I've opened my eyes. The world is changing.
I think we should take it to the next level.
I thought that was rather jolly.
So much fun.
You make a good team.
And what will you tell the child when they ask where their dad is?
There's a war. I'll tell them you're dead.
If we can find him, we'll get him.
I'm here to make sure justice gets done.
I really love you more than anything.
It's really loud.
Shall we?
Fortune favors the bold.
It feels more like the start of something than the end.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
DC Harper Western, Edinburgh Police. I'm sorry I couldn't get you a space in our station.
Victim is an ex-prisoner.
She was in a cage for 5 years. What monster puts her in another one?
Family tension, split loyalties.
They nearly £20,000 in cash.
Let's see her collect this money. So brave. I haven't told him yet.
Annika on Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday at 10 on WOUB.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Dylan Westmeyer. Ohio soccer is currently playing at Miami in the Battle of the Bricks. Coming into the matchup, the Bobcats sit at 4-6-5 overall with a 2-3-3 conference record. Ohio is coming off 3 straight draws against MAC opponents. Miami, on the other hand, has a 5-10-1 record overall and a 2-6 conference record. The Red Hawks are coming off of a 2-1 win over Toledo. The Bobcats will return to Chesapeake Sunday to take on Eastern Michigan. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. Volleyball is also traveling for their own Battle of the Bricks this week against Miami. The Bobcats were coming off their 4th straight series split against MAC opponents, leaving them with a 5-4 conference record. This puts them in a tie for 2nd place in the MAC. Ohio needs a sweep over to Miami to keep the pressure on 1st place Buffalo. The Red Hawks, on the other hand, only has 1 conference win and sit in dead last in the conference with a 5-16 record overall. First serve is set for 7 p.m. Friday and 8 p.m. on Saturday. To catch all the action, tune into ESPN+. Sticking with volleyball, OHSAA playoffs are in full swing. Starting in Division III Southeast 2 bracket, we have the Nelsonville York Buckeyes. Coming off of their first round bye, the Buckeyes host the Piketon Red Streaks in a 3-22 matchup. NY finished the regular season off on a 5-game win streak and are 20-2 overall with a spotless 12-0 TVC Ohio record. Piketon, on the other hand, finished the regular season with a 5-17 overall record and a 1-8 conference record in the SVC. The Red Streaks did, however, take down 27-seeded Colgrove in straight sets to set up the matchup. Staying in District 3 but moving to the Southeast 1, the 12-seeded Alexander Spartans will face off against the 13-seeded South Point Pointers. The Spartans had a solid regular season, finishing with a 12-10 overall record and an 8-4 TVC Ohio record, which was good for 2nd place. The Pointers were 14-8 with a 10-4 OVC record, which was good for 3rd place in the conference. For our final matchup of the night, we head out to Portsmouth West as the Federal Hawking Lancers take on the Senators. The Lancers took down 30th-seeded Rock Hill in a play-in game, but will now need an upset to beat the 6th-seeded Senators.
Portsmouth West finished their regular season off with a 16-6 record, and with a playoff bye, they should be well rested for this matchup. For updates and final scores, make sure to check out Ace Nation on the WOUB website and on social media. And making our way back to Peanut Stadium, the Bobcats host Western Michigan this Saturday. Ohio is coming off a 23-13 loss against the Northern Illinois Huskies, which now puts the Bobcats at 2-1 in conference play, and they'll need to win out if their hopes is still to claim that Mackey's title. The Broncos are looking to keep their MAC West title hopes alive as they sit at 1-2 in the conference standings. Ohio head coach Tim Albin spoke on the strength of the Western Michigan offense.
I think, again, their offensive line is doing a really good job in their scheme with their tempo and the different formations. You know, there's some wildcat stuff in there. The quarterback's still in the game, you know, so you don't know that they're going to be in it. If they're down, not a lot of subbing, you know, so that's going to present challenges to our defense. We're going to have to keep the ball in front.
You know, I know the Huskies beat us last week, but I'm looking forward to get back into Peanut Stadium and watch them Bobcats this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I love me a good game, and showing up and supporting, that's just what it's all about. Still more to come after the break. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
It's incredible. It's like going back in a time machine.
The most amazing thing about life is how it bounces back.
Our spies find ways of thinking that must be seen to be believed.
This is the closest our planet has ever been to going back to square one.
There was a huge amount of competition to show off who was really ahead in the progress race.
Wednesday on WOUB.
Do you understand that your children were removed because we deemed you unfit?
I want my kids.
Then stop, because all you'll get is jail. They are under the care and protection of the government now.
Esther, please pick up the phone.
I'm looking for family members. You have a sister, Dora Mueller, who wishes to be contacted. Would you like your sister's number? Yes.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
We're often referred to in the history books in the past tense, but here we are in the present, and we're going full force.
Native women are strong and resilient.
My people in the Buffalo have a shared history.
She's a warrior.
It's about representing ourselves in the way we see ourselves.
We're scientists, we're engineers, we're doctors. We're doing things to make a difference in this world.
I can come home and I can find myself in a place that's very much like Mars. Growing up on the Navajo Reservation area, never would have thought that I would have ended up in a place like NASA.
We've helped in building community. We're part of the wave. We throw up our light and then people will gather.
We're gonna help their dreams for the future come true.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Welcome back, everyone. And tonight, it's going to be an unfortunate night for everybody, especially if you have somewhere to be soon. I'd recommend taking off here pretty quick because we're going to get yet another big line of rain showers tonight. We're expecting a 100% chance of rain showers and a low of 51 degrees. And our satellite right now is going to show those rain showers coming in. We saw a round earlier. We're about to get our most potent round of storms, then we might even get a few spotty showers after this. It's going to be just a night filled with rain. It's not going to be fun for anyone. Tomorrow isn't going to be too much better either. 40% chance of showers through tomorrow. It's going to be cloudy and it's going to be gloomy and generally unpleasant. 60 degrees is the high and nighttime low. The clouds are going to help us out a little bit, help keep it a little warm, but it will be 42 at night. On the 7-day outlook, we'll see chance of rain through the weekend. Then Sunday, it'll be cloudy but cold, and we'll see our first below freezing temperature at night. Then it's going to warm up a little bit for us. I know I'm going to be excited for that. What do you think, Silver?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that. I'm just thinking about that rain. I don't want to go to that rain. Well, I mean, I'm going to go find an umbrella, but that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Cam Kuzno and for Dylan Westmeyer, I'm Silver Barker. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.